Welcome back to another Rants and Raves by Cr4zyDoc. Okay, so I originally wanted to do something related to video game news, not necessarily a Rants and Raves video, but as I looked under where I typically go for video game news, I didn't see anything that really piqued my interest. I typically go to Kotaku or GameSpot, stuff like that. Pretty good sales and stuff out there, but I'm not going to pimp out products of somebody that I have no relationship with. So I figured we would go into a little bit more depth on my bio, who I am, how I got started in video games, etc. And then we're going to play a little bit on my Sky Factory 2. Really love Sky Factory 2. It was my first introduction to modded Minecraft. Just love the overall concept of the game and having to start from nothing and kind of working your way out. Now I'm probably going to wander around confused for a little bit because I forget what I was working on here. Could have been anything. Oh, I think I was doing a lava spawner that Yes, I failed horribly at, so I'm not even really sure why I pulled up this to show my horrible failure, but life goes on, right? So, a little bit about myself. I won't go into deep, dark specifics because everybody on the internet is capable of finding out your true identity, etc. But I graduated from high school in the early 2000s, and then I joined the Air Force after that. I will do a complete video on what it was I did in the Air Force and kind of give as in-depth as I can of an explanation. The basics are that I was in Air Force intelligence, and we'll talk more about that. And I actually won't be playing any video game content of that. I will basically use some examples and show you guys what it was that I did as best I can, and within the limits of not exposing secrets, if you will. Not that I'm smart enough to remember any secrets at this point, but you know, you gotta stay on top of that stuff. So I was in the military from 03 to 09. I've been out since then, done a lot of different things since then. None of those are particularly important as far as my history in video games goes. I started off with the Nintendo, like a lot of current adult gamers today. And I think, let's see, I owned a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, and then I think I missed the next generation with the Nintendo 64 just because my dad would not buy one, and I never got the money for one. But I did get to play the piss out of Nintendo 64 and really got competitive with GoldenEye and stuff like that among friends. I don't even remember what summer that was, but I know I spent a ton of time playing GoldenEye. Fast forward to being into the military. As soon as I got to my first duty station after training, Halo and Halo 2 were the thing, and so we would have LAN parties and get together and play Halo. And then I really didn't start to get better at those kind of games until I got back from my second deployment. There just wasn't much focus for me in my video game addiction at that point. Got back, actually before then, I got into playing some Counter-Strike, the Dot series, and then Source. I had a buddy that was a huge Evercrack player, and then he kind of got me into playing Counter-Strike Source, which I did okay at. I wasn't very good. I was always called a noob, had no idea what this video game lingo was at the time. And then I really didn't get a super start into online games until I hooked up my Xbox in my dorms and started playing the piss out of Battlefield Modern Combat on the Xbox, which was a smaller version of, what was that, Battlefield 2, I believe, at the time. And I could sit there and play that game for hours on end. Then I got deployed to Iraq, and then deployed elsewhere in the desert in 2007 roughly. And then I came back and had gotten an Xbox 360, and that's when I really started getting into the addiction of playing online games. started to learn how to play Halo at a much better level. I never really got into the competitive scene just because, you know, the military pretty much takes up all of your time. But I did get to the point where, you know, I had a buddy that said, hey, if you learn the maps, you learn different points, you're going to get better. You're going to do better KD-wise. You're going to do better teamwork-wise, etc. So I really got into that. And then at the same time, Call of Duty 4 was big, but I was really into Halo at the time. Still played a lot of Call of Duty 4, but not to the same level that I was playing Halo. So I guess it was Modern Warfare that got me into playing a whole lot more Call of Duty. And then I've wasted probably multiple PhDs or doctoral degrees in playing video games since then. And I've played with a close group of friends for a long time. I've kind of been on and off with that group for a while. I kind of got burnt out on Xbox with the downfall of Call of Duty, if you will. And then that got me into playing Clash of Clans. But I still love competitive first-person shooters, and I will do some videos down the road but it'll probably be on a different channel that cover you know, games that are first-person in nature, whether it's Battlefield, whether Call of Duty ever comes around and redeems himself and puts out a decent game, or whether Call of Duty is pretty much dead. I guess we will just have to find out as far as that goes. We could have an entire rants and raves video on whether Call of Duty is ever going to come back to its previous glory or not. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But yeah, I love playing different games, whether it be on the PC or whether it be on the console. I'm a huge console gamer. It's where I've kind of got my roots. And where I live now, I could probably, if there is ever a game that I wanted to get competitive with, this tech mecca that I live in Seattle, there's got to be a big esports scene here that I could get into if I could ever get back to the point where I was halfway decent at a shooter. But we'll just have to wait and see what time holds as far as that's concerned. But that's kind of how I got my start into gaming. Minecraft, like I've alluded to before, I kind of got started with Xbox 360, and it was just in the midst of burnout from different games when you play a Call of Duty series for an entire year and bust through max prestiges. You know, at a certain point, the game just begins to die off for you. And then I got into playing vanilla Minecraft, and it was just a blast. I don't know what it is. It's almost meditative to play at least vanilla Minecraft back then, and to go hunt for resources and to build your little land and to do different things. So yeah, that's me and how I got my start into video games. Just out of curiosity, in the comments below, tell me what your first system was. And what your favorite game was growing up, whether it's a newer console game or whatever. Go ahead and drop that in the comments. Just kind of curious to see where everybody is viewer-wise. You know, it's not necessarily going to say a lot about your age, because maybe you've played the Atari or you played Nintendo, but your favorite game was something on Game Boy or something more recent. Anyway, I think that's all I got for this rant and rave. If you guys have specific questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. And if you like the video, click that like button and share it with your friends. Until next time, Cr4zyDoc is out.